Welcome to the RJI Futures Lab, where we help you make your organization more innovative. I'm Ruben Stern. This week, a tool for gathering information from local politicians and advice on creating news for millennials. A startup called Electable is building a tool that could help smaller newsrooms gather material from local politicians and embed that content directly into their websites. The Futures Lab's Andrew A. Baer explains how it works.
Electable is a website that compiles information about candidates in elections to generate content that journalists can use.
Basically, it allows local newsrooms with no development staff to be able to have these rich, interactive presentations for candidates and races so that users can easily go through, find their custom ballot, and learn about the candidates easier than they were ever able to before at these small newsrooms.
This technology provides under-resourced newsrooms a way to connect voters with information from local candidates. The idea is to invite candidates to join the Electable network. Once a candidate creates a profile, they can write a bio that journalists can then use to compare with other candidates.
You can ask questions to the candidates so they can log in and fill out their own responses. On the user side, it's really easy to see those answers side by side and also go into a candidate's page and see all their responses to all the questions.
Electable is divided into 3 categories: one for voters, one for candidates, and one for news outlets. Based on a user's location, Electable provides information for that person's local voting districts. News organizations can use the tool to create an entire web page on their own sites or embed smaller widgets into their articles.
So white labeling, a news outlet is able to put custom HTML at the header and footer of a page so they can add in their own Google Analytics. They can add in advertising, a leaderboard maybe at the top and bottom so that way they can monetize these pages.
Electable is still in beta testing. As of now, only 10 news organizations have signed up. For the Futures Lab, this is Andrew A. Baer.
Nicola said he hopes in the future to get election results to flow into the system automatically as well. Through her work with the American Press Institute and as editor of an experimental site called The Bold Italic, Jennifer Mayers has developed a rich understanding of how to reach younger audiences. We sat down with her to get some ideas.
One of the most important things in connecting news with young people is that they want to be able to relate to it.
I think having a really strong personal voice or strong voice in your writing, so either through humor and opinions or through targeted stories that don't condescend. But I think BuzzFeed especially has a really innate sense of this is something that's very important to our audience. So when they're doing deep dive reporting, they're speaking in a tone that's not condescending, that shows some respect. There's still room to be critical or use humor when that's valid, but that's one is not patronizing, not condescending.
Another key is being where the audience is.
There's a lot of people that bump into news and information. So you need to, as a publication, as a media outlet, make sure that your news is where people can bump into it. So it's not just assuming if we build this great homepage, people are they're gonna find it, they're gonna come to it every day. You need to be on the different platforms that these different demographics are using to kind of make sense of the world.
Being out in person helps too.
One of the other big things in my research was the importance of events. We did a lot of events at the Bold Italic. I think they're a great revenue source for media companies, but it's also creating that relevance in your audience's world. So you're creating experiences that show them you have their needs and interests really in mind. At events, this audience can really meet your editors, they can talk to them. It's also about creating that two-way conversation between the community and the editors there.
Visuals are also really important.
The top ways millennials find news and information is through Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And so the common theme there is those are all very visual platforms. And so you really need to be mapping your content to visual platforms. And one way of doing that, you don't need to worry about overburdening your art director. It's about within your organization. Where does your art department and editorial team sit? If you have a tech team, even better. Making sure those people sit in close proximity to each other so they can really have conversations and brainstorm, and also create lightweight experiments.
Above all, it helps to involve young people in newsroom decisions. That means hiring them, asking for their opinions about what's relevant, and also giving them freedom to run experiments, such as an email newsletter.
If you can create a lightweight team within your organization and say, you can choose our newsletter vendors, you can choose the designer to kind of design what the site's going to look like, it gives you a chance to really kind of start fresh. So you have this small team, you empower them, you say, see what works, see what doesn't work.
Setting time aside for creative exercises is also an important part of an organization's weekly schedule. This time allows for further innovation and problem solving. For the Futures Lab, this is Adam Pressler.
Along with this video, you'll find links to more research and recommendations. And that's it for this report from the RJI Futures Lab. I'm Ruben Stern. We'll see you in the future.